Alright, so these are the key bits of setup you should do before the op, ideally, just to make sure that you don't delay things down, and also so that you get a bit of practice in with the Jetpack in particular, because it can take a bit of getting used to. Alright, so first off, you want to head to Configure, Controls, Configure Add-ons, and head over to Degenerates Extras. First off, you need to set up a Jetpack keybind, a toggle Jetpack keybind, and an emergency air brakes keybind, which I will talk through in just a minute. And then also you should check out Web Knights Melee and check out the key binding for buttstock, hit, or bayonet, because most of you, or a chunk of you, will have bayonets on your rifles that you can use. The other key bindings might also be interesting to you if you intend to grab a knife and then try and get someone with that at some point. So, to use the Jetpack mod, so we've set our keybind, so in my case, it's simply, for the first one, you just hold that key down to fly. Just like that. Your version won't have these sound effects because it has to be configured on a per mission basis at the moment. So don't worry about it when these sounds don't play as you fly around. Next up is the toggle, so quite similar, except you just tap the one key and go straight up. And this is also an easy way. And as you see, eventually your jetpack runs out of power and you start coming back to Earth, at which point you might need to emergency air brake. At which point you will just slowly drift back towards the Earth. It also stays on while you're walking, so if you walk over sloped surfaces, you will find it a bit weird sometimes because it will just hook up and it'll try and basically slow you from falling down a 1-inch ledge. Alright, so this is the basics of the jetpack. Using your testing file, have a go at flying up onto things like the roof of this building here without taking horrendous fall damage, because as I'll demonstrate here now, if you can get it up to a decent enough speed, you can actually just fly. Here we go, fly into these trees over here. You can pick up a decent bit of speed and just plow into them, although in some cases it will decide that you no longer have leg privileges if you hit these trees, so it can be useful to just activate emergency air brakes as you go. Because if you drift around, yeah, just like that. Cool, so anyway, once you're done with all that and you're feeling good about the jetpack, you need to respawn, because psychic powers only work when you have died once and respawned. So head up to here. As the system says, during the op itself, you'll want to use spectate if you die, because there may be a period of time between respawns, and I won't be setting you back in until your team captures the next point, as per the op doc. Once you're ready, hit respawn. This is intentional, it's to do with the intricacies of having multiple people spawn up in the sky at once. Yeah, you'll parachute in, just stand up and get walking. Arsenals here again if you need them. And then this is pretty much the exact setup for the op, except it's a lovely sunny day. Don't worry about that, this happens sometimes. There we go. It's just one of the many fun things about trying to set up in the sky. Up we get. There we go. All fine. But this is pretty much the exact setup for on op night. So you just wander over to your BA, and when you're ready, jump on in. Use your picture-in-picture key. In most cases, it should just be straight up left bracket. You've got a GPS. I imagine on op night, most commanders will draw a line from your point A to point B. So in this case, I've given you a target of this spot here, where there's a radio tower. That's not the actual target for the night, but it's pretty close to where I'm going to have placed something for you guys to go after. So that's where you're heading to. So jump out, you've got your line on the map there, and then it really is pretty much flying in a straight line. Just hold down shift, get her up to maximum. You'll dip once you slide over to the edge, which means you'll need to pull up. There we go, and away we go. Weather settings are all just randomized in the mission file, so it's a little bit foggy at the moment, but don't worry about it. That's what the GPS is for. So you need to be able to use your tail rotors and rudders to steer. They are there and available. Anything too violent can knock yourself out with G-forces, so you can do that. In the op, once you spot the place you're supposed to be hitting, you'll be able to point at it, or once you see your drop zone, point at it, double hit V to eject, and now you're parachuting. Apply emergency air brakes, poof, just like that, you've now landed.